Hey there, welcome or welcome back to my channel, Diana and the Book Hunt. Today I want to share with you 10 books that I plan on picking up before the end of 2022. These are books that I've had on my radar for some time, whether it was that I was not in the mood for them at a specific time within the year or right now I'm really in the mood for them. Those are reasons that I'm planning on picking up these books until the end of the year. But there's also a couple of them that I'm planning on picking up because I'm planning specific content around those books. So let me just share them with you. The first one that I definitely want to pick up is by Ella Mays. The book is called Marriage for One. And I've seen this book going around maybe a couple of months ago on Bree's channel from In Love and Words and Jessica's channel from Peace Love Books. They've all raved about it. I think it was a 5-star read for both of them. So I'm definitely curious about it because we kind of have similar taste in most of the cases. And I know that this book is a marriage of convenience story, and it also involves an enemies to lovers dynamic. But if I heard correctly from Bree, it's not the type of enemies to lovers where the dynamic is not believable. You know, sometimes it's just something really small that sets them off as being enemies. But in this situation, there is a genuine reason for them not liking each other. So that sounds like a very intriguing read for me. The second book that I want to pick up is by Tracy Dion. The book is called Bloodmarked. I absolutely love the first book within the installment. It's called Legendborn and I read it last year. It was one of my top reads and I definitely knew already then that I want to continue on with the series. It's a dark academia, young adult fantasy retelling of the Arthurian tale. And in Bloodmarked, which just recently released, we're continuing on with the series from where we left off from the first book. And I'm really curious to see how that's going to continue. Now, the next book that I definitely want to pick up, actually, it's a couple of books that I want to pick up by this author because they've been hyped up everywhere on Booktube. Everyone that I follow basically they've all sung the praises for this new author. It's Elsie Silver and her books Flawless and Heartless. I'll probably only pick up Flawless. Okay, I'm not gonna hold myself to that actually. So I'm probably going to pick up Flawless, and if I really like it, I'm probably going to binge Heartless as well afterwards. Because I've basically heard nothing but good things about whatever Elsie Silver has written. So I definitely want to pick up Flawless as well. And talking about hyped up books and hyped up authors, Jennifer Hartman really blew up on Booktube this year with Still Beating. I actually have read this book already, but I definitely want to pick up other books within this author's backlist, and the priority for me is Lotus. I've heard Bree and Jessica, and if I'm not mistaken, Tori speak about this book as well, that it's quite emotional and it's definitely worth the read as well. So I definitely want to pick up Lotus. Another book that was recommended on a channel, which is Rachel's channel from Rachel Reads and Sings, that I want to pick up is The Weight of It All by N.R. Walker. This book, I think that Rachel mentioned that it's just so wholesome and so amazing. I know that it's involving a man who was recently dumped by his boyfriend because of his weight or his appearance or his lack of confidence in his body. So he decided to work on his self-image and his self-love by joining a gym. And when he joined the gym, he met his counterpart, who is a personal trainer. It sounds just like such an amazing story, and I definitely want to pick this one up. I also found out that I have it on audio, so I'm definitely going to read this one before the end of the year. And then the next books that I'm going to mention are books that I'm planning content around, so I definitely am going to read this. Actually, the first one I'm going to read possibly already this week, and the other one I'm going to read next week. The first one is 40 Love by Olivia Dade. This book centers around a woman who I believe is on vacation, and she has an awkward meet cute with a guy who later on becomes her tennis teacher or tennis instructor while on holiday, and she falls for him. And I believe that it's a reverse age gap situation where she is the older person and he's the younger man, so they need to kind of figure out whether that's going to be a situation that they can work around. So I am definitely curious about this one. And then the next one is one that I'm planning on reading because of a challenge that I have for myself for this year. It's called Yolk by M.H. Choi. This book is actually not a romance. It centers around the family dynamic between two sisters. One of the sisters is diagnosed with an illness, and then she kind of needs to come together with her other sister to go through a journey with her battling the illness that she has. I've heard a lot of good things about this story, but I really want to read it because first of all, it's part of my challenge, and second of all, I've heard some things about it that have intrigued me. So I definitely want to pick this one up even though it's not a romance. And then the last one that I have that is part of my challenge is by S.K. Ali, and the book is called Love from A to Z. This book I want to pick up not only because I'm doing the challenge, because I haven't read too many stories where the main characters are Muslim or Arab or just of descent, which is kind of Middle Eastern. Typically the books that are more common or kind of more popular will involve just people who are from a Western culture, and I definitely want to pick up more diverse stories. So this one sounds like an amazing read to me. I hope that I like it as much as I expect. And yeah, those are all the books that I'm planning content around basically, and there's only 2 books that I left, if I'm not mistaken, that I need to mention, and both of them I actually have already started. I think I mentioned both of them in my end of the year tag that I did, but I'm going to mention them here as well because I kind of want to force myself to read them by the end of the year. The first one is called Stellar by Manuela Ruge. This book is the follow-up to Ariel that I finished in April, I think. Ariel was a book that I absolutely loved. I think I gave it 4 or 4.5 stars. It's a white shoes romance between a woman who is a circus performer and her roommates, basically. And then Stellar follows the same characters, but they have some kind of a different situation going on that they need to overcome. So I'm about 25% into that book. I am intrigued by it, but I was kind of maxed out on white shoes novels at the moment when I picked it up, so I kind of put it down, but I definitely want to finish it. And then the last book on my list is one which I'm kind of intimidated by. I got overwhelmed by it when I started it. I'm about 60% into that book. It's The Atlas Paradox by Olivia Blake. The first book within this installment is called The Atlas 6. It was really hyped up last year. I loved it. I read it and I really loved it. It follows many characters, and already in the first book it was a bit hard to figure out who is who means what to the story, but I wasn't as overwhelmed. I could still follow with what is going on with the plot, and I was left intrigued by the end. But with this one, all of the characters that we're following are kind of battling with their internal powers or abilities, and everything is explained in such a scientific and in some situations philosophical manner that it kind of gets overwhelming. By the 60% mark, I almost feel stupid that I'm not understanding what is going on with the book, but I hope that I'm not the only one, because it's really just too scientific for me. I don't understand what they're talking about most of the time. And within the story, there's also a lot of internal thinking, not too much dialogue, and that kind of makes it also almost a bit boring at times. So yeah, by the 60% mark, I was already tired of listening to it, but I definitely want to finish it because I'm already 60% into the book. I don't want to leave it hanging, and I definitely want to see whether the end will make up for the boring parts or the difficult parts within the middle of the book. So I definitely want to finish this one as well. Now, these were all the 10 books that I want to finish by the end of 2022. I hope you liked this video. If you have, please put a thumbs up for me and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you've read any of the books that I mentioned, please let me know what you thought about them, whether you found them interesting, whether you found them worth the read. And yeah, I hope to see you very soon in the next one. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Happy reading. Take care and bye-bye.